Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, not talking about books, only Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I just finished up my third or fourth rewatch of the entire series. I don't know. And it's my favorite show still. I think it's a fantastic show. I love that it's from an era of TV where a show could still be great even if there were like bad episodes, you know? Like we used to allow TV shows to have a stinker once in a while. We used to allow a TV show to have, character arcs that, weren't so great or like storylines that just kind of fizzled out. And it didn't bother us and we could still just enjoy the show. Everything is so minutely just analyzed now and it's just taking the fun out of things. So I love Buffy. Does it have problems? Absolutely, it has problems. Doesn't stop me from enjoying it, and it's still such a culturally relevant show. A lot of people still are aware of it. It's still well loved. So there are a lot of hot takes out there, and I thought I would, throw my voice into the mix. Now I'm not super active in Buffy online fandoms or anything like that, so I'm assuming these are hot takes based on conversations I've had with real life Buffy fans and the occasional pieces of trivia I'll see online, in an article or something. I'm also going to be talking about these episodes and this show with spoilers, with the assumption that you've seen it and you know what I'm talking about. So just be aware of that as we move forward, and let's get started. So my first hot take is going to be about a character that I think gets a really bad rep on the show, and that is Dawn. Usually when people talk about Dawn, it's always, ugh, Dawn. But I found myself on this rewatch not really minding Dawn at all. In fact, my hot take is she is nowhere near as annoying as people say that she is in an unwatchable way. Now, what I mean by that is Dawn is meant to be annoying a bit. She is meant to be the moody teenager who is overshadowed by a big sister who's an overachiever, literally a chosen one, a literal superhero. So Dawn is fighting for attention. I have a bug in front of me. Dawn is literally fighting for attention and feeling she's just in the background. And that can be really stressful. That can be really difficult for a younger sibling. And I think that's totally understandable. So when she does annoying things for attention, it's what the character is. So if you don't like that in a character, that's totally fine. So it's not to say that Dawn isn't annoying. It's that the character is meant to be a little bit annoying. And you just kind of have to work through that and try to see things from her point of view. Now, there are times when that's impossible. There are times when she just makes things all about her when they have nothing to do with her. For instance, in Normal Again, when Buffy is having a literal psychotic breakdown, Dawn makes it about her by being like, it's your ideal reality, and I'm not even there. It's it's not really her ideal reality. She's having hallucinations that she's in a mental institution. It's got nothing to do with you. So that kind of stuff I could see being frustrating. The other annoying thing that she does is when she talks through her teeth like this. Jesus, get out of here! Which is a very specific acting choice by Michelle Trachtenberg, which is good. It's like a good, it immediately conveys what she's feeling. So it's good acting. It's just she's so whiny and annoying. But overall, I think Dawn really... people are way too harsh on her. I like her as a character, and she's nowhere near the worst character on the show, which is Kennedy. And I don't think that's a hot take, so I'm not going to spend any time on it. Okay, so another character-based hot take is about Xander. And I'm going to say Xander should have died on graduation day. Now, this one is the most personal for me. I don't have a great argument to stand on here. I just don't like Xander. And I really feel like after season 3, he doesn't do anything. Having Xander on the show serves almost no purpose. They have him become good at construction so that when Buffy's house gets destroyed, there's an excuse why it's fixed magically. It's oh, Xander did it. So he's useful for that. And but I think the only big story thing he does is he talks Dark Willow down in the season 6 finale, which is good. But I'm willing to sacrifice that to kill him earlier, because he does do one other story thing. He leaves Anya at the altar, and I'm not over it. Honestly, I don't get what Anya sees in Xander at all. I think they have her fall in love with him just as an excuse to have her on the show, which in that case, it is a good thing he's there, because Anya is like the best character. I love her so much. She's incredible. And so without Xander there, I guess we wouldn't have Anya. But honestly, this is just me full on Xander hate mode. Have Anya be in love with Giles. I think they had better chemistry in the one episode of Tabula Rasa than Anya and Xander had for the rest of the show. Like, I would be totally okay with that very weird ship. But because ultimately, again, Xander doesn't really do anything of substance. Season 4, he meanders. He does nothing in season 4. Season 5, what does he do in season 5? I don't know. He like babysits Dawn a bunch? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, what does Xander do? What do we need him for? Kill him on graduation day. Get him out of here. Anyway, whatever. At least he loses an eye. Ugh. Don't even read the season 8 comics, by the way. Disgusting behavior from him. Alright, now I'm going to talk a little bit about Beer Bad. Beer Bad is often cited as the worst episode of the show, or at least up there. And it's not a good episode. Like, it's obviously, it's very heavy-handed. I think that there was something where, like, they did it in agreement with, like basically as a PSA. Like, I don't know the full story. But it's a pretty weak episode. But it is, like, a little bit fun. Like, the comedy in it is a little bit broad with the Neanderthals and stuff. But it's at least, like, an easy watch. Like, you get through it easy enough. But on this rewatch, I found a different episode in season 4 that I thought was borderline unwatchable. And that's Where the Wild Things Are. If you need a refresher, Where the Wild Things Are is the episode where Riley's frat house is being haunted by the spirits of orphaned children who were abused there decades or earlier. And so now everyone in the house is acting up because the spirits are acting up. And Buffy and Riley spend the entire episode having sex. It is so incredibly stupid. Like, as far as a monster of the week goes, it's really, like, a stupid stretch. Like, the messaging and, like, the theme in it is really weak and just dumb. And it also doesn't contribute anything to the overall story of season 4. Like, I like a good Monster of the Week episode to just fill in, like, just filler. But usually there's also at least something having to do with the main story arc. But Where the Wild Things Are, you can cut that completely out of the season. Cut it out of the series, you lose absolutely nothing. The only good moment of Where the Wild Things Are is we get to see Giles sing for the first time. I love that scene in the cafe where Willow and Xander see him performing Behind Blue Eyes on acoustic guitar. It's hysterical. I love it. I wish we could just take that scene, put it somewhere else, and just be done with it. Because that's really the only thing about the episode that I enjoy. Nothing else I think works. I think that is easily the worst episode of the show. Now, I just talked about Giles a little bit, and my next hot take is about him. Because in season 6, and this is going to be my first of many hot takes for season 6, Giles decides to leave. And this is a extremely out of character decision and morally incorrect. At this stage, Buffy has no real parent in the picture. Her mother has died. Her father is AWOL. He's never heard from again for the rest of the show. Giles has been her father figure for the entire first 5.5 seasons. It's mentioned by those words several times. That episode, I forget what it's called, but the one, Helpless, where she loses all her powers and has to do this stupid test for the Watcher Council. Giles is criticized in that episode for viewing her like as a daughter, for, like, being too much of a father to her. In his Once More with Feeling, like, solo song, he says that he wishes he could be the father for her. And so what he decides to do is leave, like, her real father? She's already had a father leave her. She's got nothing. She can't go to school. She can't work. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a degree. She is a child. She needs you now more than ever. And you're just like, no, you're never going to grow with me here. I have to leave. Bad British accent, sorry. But, like, it doesn't make any sense, like, for the character that he would do that. And I know that in real life, the actor Anthony Stewart Head wanted a diminished role because he wanted to move back to England to be with his family. Understandable. If you need to find a different excuse to get him back to England, find it. But that excuse, having Giles decide, like, you're not going to grow without me? Yeah, she's not going to grow without you. She's going to lose her house. She can't keep the lights on. She can't do anything. I just thought that that was a horrible character decision, the wrong decision morally, and it drove me nuts watching this season. While we're on season 6, let's talk villains. Let's talk the trio. My hot take here, the trio are fantastic. Great villains, amongst the best villains on the show. Maybe, like, even my second favorite. Like, I don't know. My first favorite's the mayor. But, like, they're so good. And I know that they get a lot of flack for being, like, a really, like, on-the-nose parody of, like, nerds and nerd culture. But, like, yeah. Like, that's exactly what they're meant to be. Like, this is fandom. Like, these are the people that are causing problems now on the internet. And this was 2002, you know, or 2001, whatever. Like, these are real people. These people do exist outside of parody. But beyond that, think about where we are at season 6. At the end of season 5, Buffy fights a god and dies. She comes back to life in season 6, depressed, literally does not want to be alive anymore. She does not want to be on this plane of existence. It is a dour season. Everyone is depressed. Everyone is sad. Everyone's fighting all the time. We need a little bit of levity. And the trio provides that levity in the first half by being totally inept and, like, ridiculous. Like, they are played off as a joke, playing these silly games, making these silly inventions, doing these silly demons. And that is so needed. Also, after God, where do you go from there? You can't really get any bigger. So you make the very correct decision to make the threat, to make the danger human, make it real by making it humans, you know? And throughout season 6, the actual danger becomes humanity and the lack thereof. Because Dark Willow, she is a human that rejects her humanity and becomes only big evil magic witch. So it's thematic, it's on brand. And then in the middle of that season, the trio have this incredible arc where they take things too far, and now there's no turning back. And from this point forward, I'm going to have to use the R word for sexual assault a few times. So, like, just sorry. But, like, there's the attempted rape of Katrina and then the murder of her. And from that point on, now they are a real threat because they are willing to, whether all three of them are aligned in this vision or not, they are now beyond the pale. They are beyond that little milestone that once you cross it, anything is possible. And it's great. It's great for drama. It's great for the theme. It's fantastic. They are great villains. I love the trio. Okay, more season 6, and this one here, maybe the hottest take of all, because it's going to be about Spike. We know what Spike does in season 6. We know. And I'm not defending the act itself. He attempts to rape Buffy. He does. It is deplorable. It is not a good thing. It's not good that he did that. What I'm saying here is that the act that Spike committed, not only was it in character, but the way that the show depicts it, which is often very criticized, is wrong, and it should in fact be commended. Here's what I mean. This is by no means the first or last instance of an attempted sexual assault or rape on Buffy. It's not even the first or last time it happens to Buffy. In season 7, she's going to be bewitched by a high school student's jacket and almost have sex with him in the school. earlier on season 3, she is in danger of gang rape from the swim team that are turned into fish people. The coach throws her in the water. So, like, this isn't even her first time experiencing this, and it's not going to be her last. And in the show in general, it's not the first time we've seen this. As far as I'm concerned, Willow is a rapist because Willow erases Tara's memories of their fights so that they can continue a happy sexual relationship together. Like, that's incredibly, like, bad red flag behavior. And let's also not forget that Faith raped Riley. Like, 100%. When she was body swapped with Buffy, she tricks Riley into having sex with her. Riley doesn't know that it's Faith. And then, when Buffy finds out about it, she gets mad at Riley. He is a victim, and she gets upset with him about it. So, if we want to talk about Buffy, like the show, not knowing how to deal with sexual assault, let's not only look at Seeing Red. And the reason I'm talking about why Seeing Red should be commended is because it is one of only 2 instances I can think of, the other being Katrina and the trio, in which sexual assault is actually treated with the gravity and weight that it should be treated with. Like, all of those other examples that I mentioned are either brushed off, not acknowledged, or joked about. And so that, like, you want that to be the way that we handle sexual assault? Or do you want it to be the way where we see it for what it is, an uncomfortable, horrible action? Because that's what it is. And that's what the show, that's why it's such an uncomfortable watch, because it's unflinching. It's horrible to see. And now, talking about Spike, and this being in character, of course Spike did this. It makes 100% sense that Spike would do this, because he's done it before. He is canonically sexually aggressive. We see it with Drusilla, we see it with Harmony, we see it with Buffy before this. Their relationship, as it stands at this point in the season, is on the outs. Buffy has tried to leave him. So he has tried everything. He's tried to be good. He's tried to be kind to her. And so he's going to fall back on the behavior that he initially kind of won her with, and the behavior that he used with Drew and with Harmony. And he's going to get aggressive. And he's got no soul, let's not forget at this point. So, yeah, he makes a bad decision, but it makes sense for the character. Also, let's not forget the episode Crush, where Spike kidnaps Buffy, chains her up in his dungeon, and then gives her an ultimatum to either admit that she loves him, or he's going to let Drusilla kill her. So, yeah, he's got a history of really problematic manipulative behavior. Again, not good, not defending that he does it, but the fact that he does do it isn't out of nowhere. And the way that the show handles it, I think, is commendable because they actually treat it as something horrible. And both characters do learn from it. Now, the episode itself might not give Buffy a whole lot of time to breathe and deal with it, but this is just one episode of many. Like, there's episodes after this where she does deal and have an arc where she comes to terms with it. Like, you can't just isolate this. You have to look at it as a whole. It's a whole show. So you can't ignore that. So I hope I did an okay job expressing that. Again, emphasizing, not not justifying attempted sexual assault, but just justifying the choice of having it be something that happens in the show. Okay, my last hot take, which I don't know if this one is going to be hotter or less than the previous one. This one's about Tara. We're still on season 6, and we're still on Seeing Red, actually. And what I want to say here is that, look, Tara was not fridged. Now, this is something that I have seen online. I've seen it discussed in other video essays. People talk about, Tara was, she was killed to further Willow's storyline. She was fridged. In general, I think we're using that term wrong. We're using it way too vaguely. If you're not familiar with it, fridging or women in refrigerators is a trope. I have actually an entire video on my channel about Green Lantern 54, which is the comic book where this trope was named by Gail Simone. She named the trope. She didn't write the comic book. And the idea is that a female character who is created, who only exists to be killed so that her male lover can have an arc in some way, so their story can be furthered. That is the trope. To assign that trope name to Tara is an incredible injustice to the character of Tara. Because Tara was not created just to be killed. Tara was not a throwaway character just so that Willow can have growth. Tara was her own character. Tara was around for 2.5 seasons, right? Season 4, she died at the end of season 6. So almost 3 full seasons Tara was around. And she had a distinct personality. She had agency. She made her own choices. She made the choice to hang out with this group of people who literally faced death on like a daily basis. So she actually contributed. She was there for Buffy when Joyce died. She had entire episodes surrounding her where her family came in and the group like stood up for her. Tara was a full character. So you're not mad that Tara was fridged. You're mad that a character you like died. And that's fine. If you don't like that the character died, that's okay. But to say that she was fridged is a fundamental misunderstanding of what fridging actually is. And it's also a discredit to what Tara was as a character. And if you just don't like character deaths in general being used in a story, then again, like that's you. But that's not a fault of the show. That's something that you just need to come to terms with. Like if you don't like a character death, and of course the character death is going to affect the other characters on the show. That's how stories work. Stories work by things happening and then characters reacting to those things. Whether it's a character death, whether it's I don't know, it's anything. Anything could happen. The whole point of fiction, the whole point of a story is to see how characters react to it. So that's it. That's just what happened here. The character died. Willow did have a story that progressed from it, but it's not all Tara was. I don't know. I'm getting too heated now, and this was just meant to be a fun video about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So anyway, those are my hot takes. I am exhausted mentally and physically from filming this. Let me know what your opinion about any of these takes are. I would love to hear it, especially if you disagree with me. It's fine. Just be respectful. I didn't mean to come off as like aggressive or disrespectful in the way I speak here. It's just the way that I speak. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope I gave you something to think about. And maybe I'll do more Buffy content in the future. For now, thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.